Perimenopause can feel like suddenly a dozen different things are changing all at once. But what if I told you it's not just random chaos? Turns out it's more like a chain reaction, this incredible biological domino effect. And today we're going to follow that chain all the way back to the one single change that kicks the whole thing off. Hey, I'm Jackie, the Hormone Smart Fitness Coach. I help women navigate nutrition and training to sync with their cycle so they can finally stop fighting their bodies and start seeing results that last. It's very important to me that women understand what's going on with their bodies. A lot of women feel like they have failed themselves in some way or another, and that simply is not true. My hope is that I can explain hormone health in a way that is relatable so anyone can feel empowered. What is happening to my body? It's a question I get so often, and the answer is way more interesting than just, oh, your hormones are changing. It's this brilliant and fascinating chain reaction that's happening deep inside your body. It's actually really smart. So here's the plan. We're going to follow this thing step by step, just like a line of dominoes, to see exactly how one little biological shift can totally cascade into all these different symptoms we hear about. From weight gain all the way to brain fog. All right, so our story, as you probably guess, starts with the ovaries. But here's the thing that might surprise you. This whole process, this countdown, it actually starts way, way earlier than most of us think. And it's all because of a limited supply of eggs. Just take a second to think about this number 1,000. From the moment puberty hits, the body is losing around 1,000 potential eggs every single month. These are called follicles. It's this constant silent countdown that's been happening for decades before perimenopause is even a thought. Do you know just how incredibly smart our bodies are? Well, every month, the ovary isn't just randomly picking a follicle. No, it's carefully selecting the absolute best and healthiest one. That whole selection process is under constant attack. And here's the bad guy in our story oxidative stress. So, what is that? Well, it's basically the damage happening to our cells from things like pollution, toxins in our environment, what we eat, and of course, chronic stress. This stuff literally damages the follicles, which forces the ovary to throw them away faster. It's like hitting the fast forward button on all that ovarian countdown. So, what happens when the egg supply starts to run low and the ovaries just aren't as responsive as they used to be? Does the body just give up? No, it does something amazing. It kicks in this super clever, but as we'll see, pretty costly backup plan to keep the whole system running. So it all kicks off with a bit of a communication breakdown. See, the brain sends out a signal. It's a hormone called FSH, basically knocking on the ovary's door and saying, hey, time for an egg. But with fewer follicles left, the ovary is kind of slow to answer. So what does the brain do? It starts to shout. It cranks up those FSH levels, yelling the signal. And guess what? Someone else starts to overhear that shouting. And this right here, this is one of the most mind blowing parts of the whole story. It turns out our body fat isn't just sitting there. Nope, it's got this special enzyme inside. And when it hears the brain shouting with all that FSH, that enzyme wakes up and gets to work, literally turning our fat tissue into a backup estrogen factory. How wild is that? But, and this is a huge catch, not all estrogen is the same. The main estrogen we get from our ovaries, that's called estradiol. That's really potent and protective. This backup version, though, the one made in our fat tissue, it's called estrone, and it's a lot weaker, and importantly, it's more inflammatory. Okay, let this one really sink in for a second. That tendency to gain weight, especially around the midsection during perimenopause, is often not a personal failure. It's your body's incredibly intelligent survival plan. It builds a backup supply of estrogen because its main factory is starting to slow down. It's trying to help. Body fat plays a crucial role during perimenopause by acting as a backup source of estrogen, helping to balance hormones when ovarian function declines. But this backup plan, clever as it is, creates a whole new hormonal landscape. And when this new reality starts to mix with stress, with toxins from our environment, and with the health of our gut, well, it can kick off a pretty powerful and nasty vicious cycle. And it all starts with stress. When you get super stressed out, you get a lot of cortisol, right? Well, that cortisol basically tells your liver how to handle all this new estrogen, and it pushes it down a path where the byproducts, instead of just getting flushed out, actually encourage more tissue growth. Not ideal. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So, after your body uses estrogen, it has to break it down. The good byproducts are super stable and easy for your body to just, take out the trash. But the bad and the ugly versions, they're stickier. They're way more problematic, and they can cause inflammation and even damage cells. Now, here's the kicker. Things like stress and toxins, they're like a movie director telling your body, hey, forget about making the good stuff. I want you to make more of that bad and ugly. And it's not just what's happening on the inside, our whole system is getting hijacked from the outside, too. You've got these chemicals and things like plastics and cosmetics. They're called xenoestrogens, and they can actually block up our hormone receptors. And at that exact same time, if your gut isn't healthy, it can do something wild. It can reactivate estrogen that your liver already packed up to be eliminated, basically sending it right back into circulation to cause more chaos. So we've seen the hormonal dominoes fall. We've seen the metabolic chaos that follows. But what about the stuff we actually feel? You know, the brain fog, the mood swings, the anxiety. Let's make that final crucial connection. The effect on the brain is honestly profound. Estrogen is like a primary fuel for the part of your brain that handles pleasure and reward. And when that fuel supply drops off, research shows that this super important brain region can literally shrink by 20 to 30%. Our main sex hormones aren't just about making babies, they are powerful brain chemicals. Estrogen directly dials up our dopamine, which we need for focus and motivation, and our serotonin for mood. And then there's progesterone, which is absolutely essential for GABA, our main neurotransmitter for feeling calm and relaxed. So, next time you hear someone talk about the hormonal roller coaster, what they're really describing is a neurochemical roller coaster. That brain fog, the anxiety, the sudden mood shifts, they are not all in your head. They are a direct biological consequence of these hormonal changes happening in your brain. And this is why all of this is so important to understand. When you see the entire domino effect, it just connects all the dots, doesn't it? It shows you exactly how a change in your ovaries can lead to changes in your metabolism, which then show up as these really profound mental and emotional symptoms that can just feel so overwhelming. Look, your body isn't failing you, it's adapting. It's using these clever, even if they're a bit messy sometimes, survival strategies. It's sending you signals. So I guess the real question to leave you with is if your body is this incredibly smart, what happens when you really start to understand its language? Grab a free copy of my Cycle Sync Starter Guide. It's free to my followers as a thank you. It's your step by step roadmap to start living in harmony with your hormones. Inside, you'll discover how to fuel, train, and care for yourself through every hormonal phase of your cycle so you can finally feel in sync and not stuck. Thank you so much for watching. Let's flourish together.